Shalom, this is Yair Davidiy speaking to you from the land of Israel. Today we are about to discuss the Netherlands, otherwise known as Holland. The Netherlands is a country that we identify with the tribe of Zebulon. There are other Israelite tribes amongst the population of the Netherlands. There are several Israelite tribes that we can find represented in the people of this area. Not only that, there are numerous non-Israelites, people who are not Israelites also living there. We don't even know who is the majority and who is not, because there are indications in different directions. Nevertheless, the dominant group in the population is Israelite, according to our understanding, and that is where a portion of the lost in tribes are to be found, and that portion of the lost in tribes that is in the area is dominated by the tribe of Zebulon. Zebulon was a full brother of Issachar. Zebulon and Issachar are frequently linked together in Scripture. When Moses blessed them, he blessed them together. He said, "Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and Issachar in your tents," in Deuteronomy 33:18. It was understood by Rashi and by the rabbinical commentators and by the sages that Zebulun and Issachar would have a symbiotic relationship. They would be grouped together. And so, historically, elements whom we identify with Issachar were in many cases also linked with other peoples whom we identify with Zebulon, and they did come to Holland. The tribal symbol of Zebulon was a ship, according to the Midrash, Numbers Rabbah 2:5. And so too the symbol of Holland in popular tradition, and also that of the former Dutch Republic, was a ship. Zebulon in Talmudic literature is pictured as a merchant seafarer, and that is what the people of the Netherlands traditionally have been seafarers, have been merchants. Rotterdam in Holland, Rotterdam is the world's busiest port, the most busiest port in the world. Rotterdam has been for a very, very long time, for several centuries. Moses blessed Zebulun that he should suck up the abundance of the seas and of treasures hidden in the sands. See Deuteronomy 33:19. And today both South Africa and Holland, or the Netherlands, they are on the seashore, and a good portion of the early wealth of South Africa was found in the sands. The South Africa now is dominated by African peoples, but formerly the white people there still are white people there. The white people were a mixture. They had both British people and other people, and also the so-called Boers, Afrikaans, whose ancestors came from Germany, came from the Netherlands, came from Huguenots in France, and perhaps only a quarter of them physically came from the Netherlands itself. But nevertheless, they are somehow associated with the Netherlands, and so too their language that they spoke is a form of ancient Dutch. So there could be a connection. And the wealth of South Africa, or the wealth they once had, was because of diamonds. They were the chief producers of diamonds in the world, and the diamond was the stone of Zebulon on the breastplate of the chief priest, of the high priest in the temple service. They had the blessings of Jacob. Jacob promised that Zebulun should dwell at the haven of the sea, according to the translation, and he shall be in the haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Genesis 49:13. So where it says Zidon, Zidon was a Phoenician city in ancient times, so in what is now Lebanon. It was populated by Canaanites, who were also nevertheless closely connected with Israelites. And people from this area apparently did settle in Germany, and they may have settled along the northern coast of Germany, on areas bordering with the Netherlands. The Hanseatic League of Merchants of German cities may be related to them, to descendants of these peoples. The Canaanites were also known to be merchants, and that was what these cities were. They were kind of an empire of merchant ships, but based on Germany, and they could be the Canaanites, because we have a tradition that the Canaanites did settle in that area. as the sage, the rabbinical commentator Ibn Ezra says in his commentary to the book of Obadiah 1:18. So this is also worth taking into consideration. And this is how the verse could be understood, that Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea. Chof Yamim, it says literally in Hebrew, that means on the shores of the sea. And he shall be in heaven for ships, and his border shall be unto Sidon. Sidon meaning that area of northern Germany. And Zebulun, or the Dutch, they did fulfill this prophecy. They did fulfill it. They were dwelt on the shores of the sea. 2/3 or more than 2/3 of the area of the Netherlands is under sea level. They built up dikes and all kinds of waterworks to drain the land, to push back the seas, and they reclaimed the land. But 2/3 of the land is, literally speaking, on sea level, below sea level. And that is where the overwhelming majority of the population lives. They live in the areas beneath sea level. They don't live in those few areas that are above sea level, but in those below sea level. Not only that, in most parts of Holland, according to a study that I saw, most parts of the Netherlands, you dig down a little bit, and the bottom of soil is sand. They're literally speaking, sands of the sea, that is what they dwell upon, and they're the only country in the world that fulfills this prophecy. Also says, Zebulun shall dwell at the shores of the sea, Chof Yamim, a nation. Thomas was a people there called Zebulun Goy. Zebulun Goy, that is what he was named. This people, Zebulun Goy, or Zebulun Goy, can be found in the geography of Ptolemy. Ptolemy was not Jewish, he was not Christian. He lived about 100 CE. He copied down ancient traditions from the Phoenicians and others that he knew about. He lived in Egypt, but he was Greek. And he was not influenced by Jewish sources. He didn't know about the tribe of Zebulon as far as we know. But nevertheless, he registers a people known as Zebulon Goy in that area, in the area of the Netherlands, or also a bit to the north of it, in the area of Frisia. Zebulon Goy, Goy in Hebrew means people. Zebulon means Zebulon. Another form of the name Zebulon. In other words, he said the people of Zebulon were dwelling in the Netherlands area. And so we have historical records of this. And also this is the only area in the world where people live below sea level, as it was prophesied. So the Dutch do fulfill this prophecy. We also have the prophecy of Obadiah 1:20, in the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath. Rabbinical commentators whom we have quoted and explained this verse, such as Rashi, such as Nachmanides, Ibn Ezra, Dart Sofrim, Abab and El, they tell us this means this first exile of the lost 10 tribes. They shall possess that region of the Canaanites, or stretching from the Canaanites, meaning Germany, according to Ibn Ezra and others, even unto Zarephath, which means France, which is where the lost 10 tribes were, and Zarephath meaning is France, according to Rashi and others, and also the Abab stresses that not only France is intended, but the British Isles, Angleterre, England, that is included in this verse, and this is where the lost 10 tribes were to be found, according to this prophecy. And this is what we understand from the commentators, and also apparently Calvin in 1599 in the Geneva Bible, he said there's something similar. He said by the Canaanites, the Jews mean the Dutchmen, and by Zarephath, France, which is what we have said. Apparently he was a scholar in his own right, and he consulted with Jewish sages, and this is what he was told, and this is reasonably accurate. Also in southern Holland, we had a people known as the Canaanites, known as in ancient times the Canaanites, which name means the union of Canaanites. So they were there, and they had this name, the union of Canaanites in this area. Also by the Zebulun Goy, we also have other peoples of similar names. We have the Segulonis, Segulon, Amsagula in Hebrew means for chosen people whose name applied to Israel. The Israelites are called an Amsagula, that is a chosen people. See Deuteronomy 7:6, 14:2, 26:18. And they were dwelling in this area by the Zebulun Goy. We also have the Hali, who are related to Yachliel, a son of Zebulun, because the Yah sound would have been dropped. See Genesis 46:14. Yachliel was the son of Zebulun, so was Sered, and also Elon. The Sered gave their name to the Suadunoi, a portion of which were to be found in northern Holland, in that region. And also Elon, also in Hebrew could have been Alon. So we have Halon, and we have Holland itself, which name also derived from this personage. And so we have the names of the tribes of the sons of Zebulon being found in the Holland and the Dutch area. Also we have them fulfilling the prophecy of dwelling on the shores of the sea. We have a people by the name of Zebulon, the people of Zebulon in this area. And we also have the symbol of the ship, the symbol of the ship being that of Zebulon. And also we have other evidence, which we will go through very briefly, giving some points but not all. For instance, we have the Frisians, people in the north of the Netherlands. Even though in ancient times they spread through from Scandinavia right down into France, but now or in our time they're constrained, one could say, to the northern part of the Netherlands. They were connected with the Angles and the Saxons who invaded England and conquered it. They also participated in the invasion of England, according to Procopius, a Byzantine historian who lived at the time. We trace the Frisians who invaded England to Peres, son of Gilead of Manasseh, but even so, they were related, or they were connected to the people of the Netherlands. And this is important because we find in the legends attributed to them that they say that their forefathers were in effect in Jerusalem before it was conquered by Nebuchadnezzar. They were part of the lost 10 tribes. They were also connected with this exile of the Assyrians, as they themselves say in these legends, and they trace their passage, their migrations, one could say, into Central Asia and from there to the West. And we have sources on this, and we have brought these sources in our works, and some of these sources are quite rare, but we found them in rare books, and we reference them, and we copied them down, and also people sent other sources corroborating them. So this is what we have. Fred Koslek, who lives in this area, sent us translations of a portion of ancient Frisian legends. So that is what we have, that is what there, and it is quite impressive. And there is much more additional evidence pointing in this direction that the lost 10 tribes were in this general area. They were in the British Isles, they were on the western coast of Europe, they were in Scandinavia, they were in these places. And legends and archaeological evidence confirms them having been there, and so too does the Bible. So we have all these different sources coming together and confirming the lost 10 tribes were in these regions. And we also have been enabled to identify approximately the actual tribal groups, what specific tribe settled in which specific area, in many cases at least. We have been able to do this, and we have done it. Another point worth noting is that the Talmud tells us that the tribe of Zebulon nation times they were occupied with the purple dye industry, producing the purple dye from a sea mollusk, and which the Phoenicians also known as being experts as doing. So according to the Talmud, the tribe of Zebulon was specialized in this, and to produce this you have to have a basic knowledge of working in chemistry. And the dye itself was used to dye fabric. You have to be an expert in the different types of fabric and how the dye is absorbed by different fabrics and how to process it. And also they were known for fishing and for producing white glass. Glass, which in ancient times, nowadays we take it for granted, glass is everywhere. But in the time of the Phoenicians, it was a rare commodity, and it was quite expensive, and the tribe of Zebulon was an expert in producing it. And the production of glass uses metallurgical principles. In other words, the same principles that you need to produce metals, you need to produce glass. It's the same profession, one could say. And now metallurgy is one of the mainstays of the Netherlands economy, along with the textile production and chemicals, which is similar to the dye industry that they had in ancient times, and also fishing. Zebulon was known as a fisher, and the Dutch too are very important in the fishing trade of northwest Europe. So we see in effect a continuation. They always had these traditions, and they continued these traditions even after they were exiled. And so this too is proof that these people are from the tribe of Zebulon, because all of the indications point in that direction. The Lord God of Israel bless you. Thank you.